Only one trip before getting married or engaged. Hi, I'm Jim Hacking, immigration lawyer practicing law throughout the United States out of our offices in St. Louis, San Diego, and Washington, D.C. People ask me all the time, hey, Mr. Immigration Lawyer Man, when should we go ahead and get married or file for a fiance petition? How many times do we have to see each other before we actually file? And I think this is a very interesting question because the real question should be, what would a normal couple do? What would a couple do if they weren't involved in the immigration process? So we have seen many, many situations where somebody saves up every dollar that they have and they go overseas to meet their person that they're interested in, and they come back and they file a fiance case, or they go for a 3-week trip and get married at the end of that third week. And they want to know, Jim, do you think this is a strong case? And my answer to that is no, that is not a strong case. That's not what most people would do. In the ordinary course of business, is it very common that people get married on their very first trip to see each other? That's sort of unusual. Certainly, people can fall in love and people want to get married, but when you have situations where people have been married many times before, or they've just gotten divorced and gone overseas to marry someone very quickly to get married, that is not a recipe for success. What we'd much rather see is a long developed relationship. USCIS, the National Visa Center, the State Department, they see marriage-based cases all day long. And there's a fundamental difference between people who have a long history together versus people who just meet very quickly and go ahead and file. So I think this is a real problem when people get married or engaged too quickly. And I think this is setting yourself up for a long period of problems. And so there's no magic rule. There's no magic formula for when a relationship is old enough to be deemed worthy of an immigrant visa or a fiance petition. And in fact, we've seen cases, especially out of Morocco and some other Middle Eastern countries, where there have been multiple visits and still the embassy refuses to give the visa, maybe because there's an age gap or something else. But at the end of the day, you have to think to yourself, how legitimate, how strong does this relationship look if I went over for 2 weeks and I got married on day 13? That's just a real problem. That's not what most people do. You might have every good reason for having done it, but does it make it a strong immigration case? No, it does not. So what I would like to see much more is multiple trips, multiple interactions with each other, lots of family relationship stuff. Let's take two different instances. Let's say one person went over and got married on day 13. But let's say there's another couple where the foreign spouse is in a city overseas and the U.S. citizen goes over 3 or 4 times before getting married. Which do you think is stronger? Which case do you think is more likely to get approved? I'm not being mean or saying bad things about people who do get married very quickly. But at the end of the day, you have to stand before the State Department and convince them that your relationship is real and not for an immigration benefit. And so to me, I liken it to a good soup. I went out to lunch with my mom yesterday and I had a really good vegetable soup. And I could tell that vegetable soup had been simmering for a day or two, right? So they put in all the ingredients. Now, you can make a soup really quickly. You can chop up everything, throw it in the water, put it on the pan and boil it for half an hour, and it might be pretty good. But you want to let it simmer. You want to let it cook. You want the flavor to come out. You want there to be a history, right? So we met online and I went overseas and I really liked her. So I went ahead and got married, or I went ahead and got engaged. Now I want to file. Yeah, we'll file that case. We'll work on that case, but you got to know that you're starting from behind. You're starting with extra scrutiny. You're starting with some suspicions. So think that through and think if there's ways that you can demonstrate that the relationship is real. A bunch of online stuff is going to only carry you so far. What's much more important is time spent together. And you have to be able to answer that question. Why did you get married on day 13? Why did that happen? Why didn't you wait? What was the hurry? And the problem is the consulates, they're the ones that are toughest on this, and there's really no way to appeal their denials, right? They can send the case back for revocation, and then you're starting all over. So you think you might be faster by filing right away, but in fact, you're setting yourself up for more and more delays. So think that through and talk to your significant other and see what makes the most sense for you in your life and in immigration. Now, I know immigration is taking a very long time to decide these cases, so I can understand why you want to file sooner rather than later. But at the end of the day, just filing a shotgun case very quickly, not going to be in your best interest. And especially if you waste 2 years waiting for it denied. You should have spent those 2 years making your case stronger, as opposed to just shooting an application over as quickly as possible. Hope this makes sense. We love working on marriage-based cases. We love working on fiance cases. If you want to talk to our firm about the possibility of hiring us, working with us, we'd love to work with you. Give us a call, 314-961-8200, or email us, info@hackingimmigrationlaw.com. That's for people who are interested in actually hiring us. We don't do consults. We don't talk about your case. If you want to do that, you can come on my show. It's called the Immigration Answer Show. I do it 3 or 4 times a week. It's a live show I do on Facebook and YouTube. You can join us there and talk to us about your situation. There's lots of immigrants who join in every day and watch the show, listen to other people talking about their immigration issues. We also have a Facebook group, Immigrant Home. There's over 12,000 members, I think, in there, answering and talking and commiserating about how immigration works in America. And then finally, our YouTube channel. You should subscribe to that. That way, whenever I make a new video like this one, or whenever I go live on the show, you'll be alerted right away. And finally, I already said finally, but finally, you should join us on TikTok at Immigration Hacking. And that's where I sort of do my quick hit immigration tips on TikTok. So we'd love to see you there. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next time.